Hello, today we're going to be automating some finance tasks in Excel using Power Automate. So what that means is that for this Excel workbook, we want to summarize a couple of different things on this summary tab. And what we want to summarize is the amount of, let's just call it amount of sales on the April tab, on the May tab, and on the June tab, and then paste them in here. So we have a nice overview. This means that we will be working, sending some keys and doing some actions in Power Automate, and doing a lot of interaction with Excel, which is really handy to know how to do that. I've made the script already, so as per usual, I think I'll just close it down. And then, as you can see here, this is everything. So before we start getting into it, let's just run the script so you can follow along and see what it does. So it's a little bit quick, but it goes into every tab, calculates the amount, and then pastes that amount into the summary sheet. And then in the end, as a nice touch, it just adjusts the column width as a nice little feature, and then it saves the Excel file. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'll paste the whole code base into the description, so you also have that available if you don't want to be doing it step by step. But that's at least the purpose here. So let's just get started. So we have the Excel file here, and first what we want to do is then to launch that Excel file. So we'll find the launch Excel action, and we want to open the following document. So let's just reference that. You do that by right clicking and then just copying as path, and you paste that in, and you delete these quotation marks, otherwise it doesn't work. So we launch the Excel, then we can just make sure that that works. So let's just launch it, and we also need to have it open now. So now we have it here. Next thing we need to do is to write a few things into some of the cells. So we want to have it written month and total sales here, like this. So for us to do that, we use the write to Excel worksheet to the Excel instance. That's fine, that's the variable. And what we want to write is month on a specified cell, column 1, row 1. And then we'll take that and we'll copy it and we'll say total sales. And that's then going to be on column 2, so it'll be column B, row 1. Now, if we close it down, that should give us that result. Boom. So far so good. We'll close it down again. Don't want to save it because otherwise we have to do it all the time. Or reset it all the time. Now, what we now need to do is that we need to go into the different tabs of the Excel file. So let's just reopen it again. So we need to go into tab number 2 and do a calculation. And for us to go into tab number 2, we can use an action called get active or get all active, get active worksheet, Excel worksheets. So we'll get all the active sheets in this Excel instance, and then we'll produce two variables that we will need in just a second. So what we want to do is to set the active Excel worksheet. And we don't want to do it with the name, because let's just say we don't know the names of the sheets, but we do know which index they're in. So let's set it to index 2. That means that we will set it not to the first, but to the second. And from here, we want to do some calculations. So now if we run this script, the intention, or hopefully the outcome will be that we write month here, total sales here, and then we get the active worksheets, and then we set the active worksheet to 2, meaning that we venture into this second worksheet. That should be what we have programmed until now. So now we need to do a sum function in the second sheet, and for us to do that, we need to get a variable first. So get first row, get first free row on column, and it'll be column 2 because this is where we have the information that we want to sum. So we want to get the first 3 row, basically meaning here. So we set that to column 2, and then we want to write a function now, and this becomes a little bit complex, but we want to write something to the Excel worksheet, and what we want to write is a sum function. So we'll say sum, and then we'll say b, because that's the column, and then we'll say 2, because we know that it always starts from b2. In this pretend example, there's always a header, so meaning that we need to sum something from b2 column, and then we need to specify that it has to go from b2 to somewhere, and by doing that, by the way we do that is to reference the first 3 row on column is what we called it. And then we minus 1 to that because we don't want to include the first 3 row. We want to take the last one just above that. And we want to, oh, what did I forget? Oh, and I forgot here. So B2, there we go. We can actually just do it like that, right? So B2 to whatever first row on the column minus 1. And then we'll specify that it has to be pasted into column 2 still. And then we want to paste it into the first 3 row. So let's just reference it like this so we don't make any mistakes. Boom. Save. So now there's a couple of different ways to reference this. The first, or the easiest solution that I've found to do this is because now we have the sum function, or we have the sum value, but we want to reference that in the summary sheet. For us to do that, you can do it in a bunch of different ways, but this way works at least. So what we can do is that we will set a variable, and in this variable we will paste the following. So sheet name, which is a reference to a variable, and then it'll be column B, first 3 row on column that we want to give the output to. So hopefully this will give it something along the lines of April, and then I don't know why there's an exclamation mark, but there is, and then B11. This should be the output of the variable. So let's just test that. So we set that, and then we now have that as a variable that we can reference. So now what to do is to go back into the set active Excel worksheet. We want to go back into the summary page, which is the index 1. So we'll go back to the first page, and then we want to again get the first 3 row on column 2, and then we want to write to Excel worksheet. And first we want to write the sheet name 1, just sheet name, and then we want to reference it as, oh, not sheet name. Oh, we made a small mistake. So we are using the wrong active Excel worksheet. Oh, let's just change that up a little bit. Okay, so get all Excel worksheets needs to be up here, and then it'll be producing sheet names, not sheet name, but sheet names. So we get all the active worksheets, and then here we move the get active Excel worksheet down here, and we use that as a reference to this. In the variable, we go to the first tab, and then we'll get the first 3 row on column, and then we want to write. So this should hopefully work. We want to write, not sheet name, but sheet names, and then we can do an indexing on this. So we want to write this, the name of sheet names 1, which, if we open the file back up again, should be April. Again, because we want to have a formula somewhere here that says April B11. something like that, because then if there's a sum here, that will reference it, and then we have the number. And we'll paste that into column 1, sorry, not column 2, row 2. So we got that. And then we want to do another write, and we want to do that on column 2, row 2 now. And what we want to write is the new variable. So hopefully this should work. So let's just test it out. We have the Excel sheet closed, and we can run it. And all of that happened without us being able to see it, but hopefully it works. And it actually does seem like it works. So we're doing the sum, and we're going back here, we're pasting in month, total sales, the name of the sheet, and then the name of the sheet, exclamation mark, and then the first free row, which gives us the output that we want. So that's perfect. Now all we have to do is basically just replicate that 2 times. So I'll just quickly do that. But before I'll do that, let's just clean it up a little bit. So we'll be smart about it and say that this will make a subflow and say sheet index 1. We'll paste all of these things in here, and then in between here we'll just run subflow. This makes it look a little bit prettier. Then we just need to run another subflow. Now we just need to duplicate this, copy, paste, and let's rename it. Go in here, and then we'll say get all the active worksheets, set it to active. This needs to be 3, so that needs to be the third line. We still get the first free column. This is still good. Boop, yes, and then we'll go back. We can then copy paste these and say still set it to 1, get the first free row. So we need to write the Excel sheet name of sheet name 2 on column 1 row 3, and this on column 2 row 3. So let's see if that doesn't work. Whoop, something messed up. Okay, so we're not referencing, we're doing 2 sum calculations in the same sheet. That's a mistake. Oh my god. Yeah, we obviously have to run this, run another subflow. Let's try it again. Pasting it in, going to May, pasting that in. That looks better. That looks way better. Alright, so we'll just do it one more time. And there we go. Now, the only thing that we can do, or the plan for the video, was that we would also then just adjust it a little bit. So let's just use simply the recorder. So we'll record here and say we want to click here, capture that, and then we want to do Control A, capturing that, Alt H, O and I to adjust the width of the columns, and then that's it. Oh, and that then got pasted up here. Let's just again, let's create another flow, call it adjust sheets, and paste all of this in here. We'll go back to main, and then we'll just run subflow again, adjust sheets, and then let's see if this doesn't work from end to end. So we'll cancel this, and then drum roll. Let's see if it doesn't work. Summing, pasting, summing, pasting, summing, pasting. Moment of truth. sending the keys. There's a little bit of delay in between because it does that. And that's perfect. That's the output that we want. The only thing now we need is to just close Excel. So we'll close Excel, the Excel instance, and we just want to save the document. And that's it. From here, you can connect it to mails. You can do whatever, but at least this gives you a bit of insight into how to use Excel and integration with Power Automate. Hopefully you've learned something. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Thanks.